finally got a heart monitor to see if I was having, I don't know, my heart was doing weird things, because every doctor I was talking to said, oh, it's cardiology, you need to talk to cardiology, even though I'm pretty sure it's neurology. You know, coming from someone who has Chiari malformations, syringomyelia, all these neurological conditions, I'm like, are you sure it's not neurological? And they said, no, you need to talk to a cardiologist. This is you're almost fainting. That's weird. That's a cardiology thing. I finally see a cardiologist who gets me a heart monitor that I don't have to completely take on and off every few days. I need to detach it and charge it every 3 days, but essentially I'm able to leave it on. And I'm like, okay, great. Finally I can talk to a cardiologist. They put it on me on a Thursday near the end of the day, and they're like, okay, good, great, we're closed on Friday, so if you have any problems, call this number in this pamphlet. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, not long after they put it on me, I start getting weird notifications that the heart monitor's not connecting to my heart. I need to like fix the connection so that it's like connecting. So I had my boyfriend look at it, and I eventually called the number because I keep getting the alerts on the phone that comes with the heart monitor. I keep getting these alerts that say, oh, there's something wrong. It keeps beeping at me. I need to fix it. So I called the number, and it turns out, even though the doctor's office, the nurse at the doctor's office put it on me, the cardiologist's office, apparently she put it on wrong. She put it on too high and it was not connecting to my heart. So I had it on for like 2 days and it wasn't making any notifications. So I ended up taking the extra materials they gave me and having my mom help me put it on correctly. And then after that, I don't get the notifications anymore. So that was great. I wore it for 2 weeks. I did have one of my episodes where I thought, oh God, I'm gonna pass out. I'm getting really dizzy. I'm getting the cold sweats, this whole thing. So I'm like, okay, great. It happened while I was wearing the heart monitor. I'm finally gonna get an answer to this problem. I see the cardiologist about a week after I turn in the heart monitor, and they say, oh, we didn't really notice anything wrong with your heart. I'm like, okay, well, what about this time and this day when this happened? And they go back and they look at the data and they're like, oh, your heart rate shot up suddenly. That's odd. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's what happens when I have my episode. And they said, well, your heart is completely fine. So, because I also had an EKG at the cardiologist, so they also had that data. And they said, no, your heart's fine. It's neurological. Your brain is telling your heart to suddenly raise the heart rate, and we don't know why, because that is neurological, and that is something you should talk to a neurologist, neurosurgeon. I think, interesting. So, the doctors I tried talking to 6 months ago. So I came to the conclusion years ago that you need to tell every doctor you see everything you're experiencing, because you never know when a weird symptom that you don't think is related to the specialist you're seeing could possibly explain every problem you're having, to the point where they go, oh yeah, that's connected to XYZ. So I'm talking to my psychiatrist, who I just started seeing back in January. It is now May. I'd only been seeing her a few months, and at one point during our appointment, she goes, oh, you're having anxiety? Are you sure it's not a reaction to your medication? Because, your medication can cause that feeling that you're describing. Because after the heart monitor, I started having what I thought was anxiety attacks, where I was feeling really wired and anxious. I didn't know what to do with myself. I feel like my face was vibrating. So I told her about this, and she goes, oh, well, I think your medication might be a little too high, so let's lower your bipolar medication. And in passing, she also says, and sometimes this bipolar medication can sometimes affect your autonomic nervous system. And I go, huh, interesting. But then we move on to another topic, and we don't pursue that. And I'm like, autonomic nervous system. About a week later, I started Googling, is my medication related to dysautonomia, this condition I think I now have, which affects the autonomic nervous system? And Google AI, which, 100% accurate all the time, right? Says, oh yes, your medication is causing dysautonomia. It can cause dysautonomia. And I'm like, oh, I have found the answer. I call my psychiatrist, I leave a message. She's on vacation for 2 weeks, so I can't actually talk to her. About a week later, I do the exact same Google search, and Google AI now says, oh no, it doesn't cause dysautonomia, but it can exacerbate the symptoms of dysautonomia, or the dysfunction of your autonomic nervous system. I leave a message from my doctor again explaining, okay, I think I have a new theory. I think my medication is causing me problems. So basically, I feel like, did I diagnose myself? Talking to her on the phone a week before our actual appointment after she gets back, and she lowers my medication again. So we've lowered it twice. We lowered it once because I was having what I thought was anxiety, but turned out to be a side effect of the medication. Then we lowered it again because maybe this dysautonomia stuff is actually a side effect of the medication. Fast forward a week to when we have our actual appointment, I'm on almost half the dosage of what I was on originally for what I had been on for multiple years. I'm feeling so much better. I haven't had a dysautonomia episode, the fainting, cold sweats, that thing. I haven't had that in about 2 months. I haven't had an anxiety attack in about 2 weeks. I'm feeling so much better. But essentially, I had to come to this conclusion myself and really advocate for myself and go, hey, something's wrong, what do I do? Now, when I came to the conclusion that it was my medication causing the problem, I thought, oh God, I'd been on this medication for 10 years. My bipolar was out of control when I was younger. I don't want to go back to having out of control bipolar disorder. So do I have to change medications? Luckily, my psychiatrist was like, no, I think it's just, you just need to be on a lower dose. So I've been on the lower dose for a few weeks now and I'm feeling so much better. So I'm relieved. I don't have to try a new medication and keep from being loco. Long story short, check your medications with your psychiatrist. Check your medications with your primary care. Check your medications with your pharmacist. Your pharmacist will know more about how medications can interact with each other than any doctor you see, because in my experience, you see a specialist, they treat you for that one specific thing they're treating you for, they give you the one medication, they don't give a shit about what your other medications are gonna do. Or they just don't know how your other medications are gonna interact with that medication. So really, you should do your own research. I think there's like a WebMD website you can go to check interactions for medications. Highly recommend.